There's a moment maybe an hour into Silent Hill F where you're walking a deserted lane in rural Japan. The fog is thick, flowers split the asphalt, and something moves in the mist. Then you see it, part mannequin, part flesh, twitching as it staggers towards you. That was the moment I knew Silent Hill was back. After years of false starts, Konami has finally delivered a game that doesn't just wear the Silent Hill name. Silent Hill F is horrifying, atmospheric, and deeply personal. I 100% completed Silent Hill F. Every ending, every achievement, every puzzle on Lost in the Fog. And the further I went, the more it became clear. This isn't just a good Silent Hill game. It's one of the best horror games I've played in years. Before I dive in, a quick note, this is a small channel and its success really comes down to you. Every like, comment and share goes a long way, and I'm thankful for the support. Now, let's get nerdy. The first thing you notice about Silent Hill F is that it isn't set in Silent Hill at all. Instead, you're dropped into Ibisugaoka, a fictional mining town in the 1960s. At first glance, this feels like heresy. Silent Hill is supposed to be misty lakes, Americana diners, and rusting industrial towns. But Ibisugaoka is such a natural fit for the series' DNA that it makes you wonder why it took so long. Ibisugaoka is steeped in post-war trauma and rigid social expectations. Hinako Shimizu, the protagonist, is a teenage girl trapped in a society that tells her she is worth nothing more than marriage and obedience. Her father is abusive, her mother powerless, her sister gone. When the fog rolls in, this suffocating atmosphere externalizes itself. Streets twist, shrines turn hostile, and the ordinary becomes grotesque. The town itself feels alive. Exploration is claustrophobic with alleys that press in on you and traditional wooden houses where every floorboard creaks makes you flinch. Unlike Western horror settings, which often rely on industrial decay, Ibisugaoka is beautiful in its own way. Fields of blood-red flowers, candlelit shrines, and mist-covered mountains. The developers leaned hard into the concept of finding beauty in terror, and it truly works. And I found myself constantly torn between wanting to look closer and wanting to run away. The Otherworld makes its return here, not as the rusted hellscape of earlier games, but as an oppressive labyrinth of shrines and temples. These sequences are some of the most disturbing in the game, filled with imagery that feels ritualistic, almost religious, but twisted beyond recognition. They're the kind of areas that leave you unsettled even when nothing is happening, because you're waiting for the inevitable rupture. And then there's the audio. Akira Yamaoka's fingerprints are everywhere, blending traditional Japanese instruments with the industrial ambience he's known for. The result is a soundscape that makes even silence feel dangerous. Monsters are often heard before they are seen. The clatter of wood, the hiss of breath, the shuffle of something you can't quite place. It's textbook Silent Hill, but refreshed for a new setting. Silent Hill F also takes some bold swings with its mechanics. The most obvious, there are no guns. Combat is entirely melee, forcing you to rely on pipes, knives, and improvised weapons that break after repeated use. At first, this feels limiting, even clumsy, but it's deliberate. You're not meant to feel powerful, you're meant to feel fragile. Combat revolves around three systems: stamina, sanity, and weapon durability. Swing too much and you're winded. Let your sanity drain too far and you start bleeding health. Overuse a weapon and it snaps, leaving you scrambling for another. It's a loop that constantly forces you to make decisions. Fight or flee, conserve or consume, push or retreat. Layered onto this is the faith system. Throughout Ibisugaoka, you'll find shrines where you can sacrifice items to gain faith points, which can then be used to upgrade Hinako's health, stamina or sanity, or to draw Amamori charms that grant passive buffs. It's a clever system that makes inventory management feel meaningful. Do you hold onto that precious healing item for later, or do you burn it at a shrine to unlock an upgrade that might save you 10 times over? Combat itself walks a fine line between clunky and tactical. Dodges can feel a little too effective and enemy hit reactions aren't always satisfying, but once the system clicks, it does become tense and rewarding. Perfect dodges restore stamina, focus attacks, slow time and stun enemies, and heavy strikes can shatter enemy guards if you time them correctly. Boss fights take these mechanics and twist them into grotesque set pieces, forcing you to adapt to creatures that are as symbolic as they are terrifying. Outside of combat, puzzles are where Silent Hill F really shines. They are varied, thematic, and often tied directly to the environment. One has you navigating a scarecrow-infested field. Another locks you in a looping house where the exits shift depending on what you interact with. And they often demanded close attention to detail, Hinako's journal, and the scraps of lore scattered around town. They're challenging without being obtuse, and solving them feels like participating in the narrative, rather than just unlocking doors. In my experience, technically the game is also mostly solid. On PS5 where I played, performance was excellent with only minor dips. However, on PC I have read some reports of reviewers experiencing traversal stutter, particularly in Ibisuguaka, but insofar as I understand it, nothing game-breaking. The visuals, powered by Unreal Engine 5, are stunning. Fog rolls like a living thing, flowers bloom and wither before your eyes, and character animations capture both vulnerability and monstrosity with equal conviction. Silent Hill F is one of those games where 100% completion means pulling at every thread of Hinako's story until you've seen how far the fabric unravels. The achievements are structured in a way that basically force you to do exactly that, and I really appreciate how deliberate it felt. The first layer is difficulty. To fully clear Silent Hill F, you need to beat it on all 3 combat modes and all 3 puzzle modes. On the surface, that sounds like padding, but in practice it reshapes the entire experience. Combat on Lost in the Fog is absolutely brutal and punishing. Puzzles on hard or above stop being side content and start becoming the backbone of the game. Running through those permutations makes every playthrough feel distinct, and if you're chasing 100%, you can't just brute force one path. You have to live all of them. The second layer is progression and systems. You'll need to max out Hinako's health, stamina, and sanity, fully expand her inventory, and collect every single Amomari charm from shrines, including the hidden ones. And obviously that means engaging fully with the faith system, where you sacrifice items for permanent buffs. It's a brilliant bit of tension. Do you burn resources now for long-term growth, or hold on to them and risk being underpowered later? Completionists can't ignore it, and it makes even the smallest pickup feel weighty. The third layer is lore. Silent Hill F ties entire achievements to uncovering diaries, medical notes, and family documents. The Tsuneki family records, Sakuko's diary, Rinko's writings, clinical trial logs. Missing these doesn't only mean that you're going to be missing out on some achievements, but you're also going to be missing out on the heart of the horror. Collect them all and you will start to see Ibisugaoka not just as a haunted town, but as a living system of repression and cruelty that's been festering for decades. For me, this was some of the best story-through achievements design I've seen in horror games. Then there are the endings. Silent Hill F doesn't just give you one ambitious finale. It ties achievements to every possible outcome. The self-preservation route, the exaltation route, the fox's wedding, and more. To 100% this game is to see all the ways Hinako's journey can fracture, and the thing is, none of them feel like bonus endings. Each one reframes the narrative in a way that made my next playthrough essential, not merely optional. Finally, there are skill challenges. Some ask you to dodge bosses flawlessly, solve puzzles without mistakes, or sprint through chase sequences without being touched. Others are almost mischievous. like opening a random mailbox or refusing to take healing capsules. These little flourishes make the 100% journey feel less like a grind and more like Silent Hill itself is testing how thorough, stubborn, or playful you're willing to be. By the time the last achievement popped, I didn't feel like I just finished Silent Hill F. It felt like I'd uncovered every hidden layer of it, every secret buried in the soil. And that is what makes it one of the most rewarding completionist horror experience I've played in recent memory. Silent Hill F had everything stacked against it. A new developer, a new setting, no guns, souls-like whispers hanging over its combat. It could easily have been another forgettable entry, another experiment that missed the point. Instead, NeoBards has delivered a game that feels both refreshingly new and unmistakably Silent Hill. The atmosphere is suffocating, the monsters grotesque, the puzzles brilliant. Hinako's story is poignant and disturbing, a reflection on conformity, womanhood, and the cost of survival in an oppressive society. The combat isn't perfect, the sanity system feels undercooked, and the camera occasionally gets in the way. But these are rough edges on an otherwise exceptional work. Silent Hill F isn't just a return to form. It's a statement that Silent Hill can evolve, can move beyond the town itself, and still be terrifying, beautiful, and deeply human. For me, as someone who 100% completes every game I review, Silent Hill F was a gift. Replayable, layered, rewarding in ways that went far beyond achievements. It lingered with me long after I put down the controller, not just as a game I played, but as an experience I endured. And that's going to be it for this one, nerds. Thank you so much for watching. On your way out, please remember to leave me a like, subscribe to the channel, maybe share with your friends, and definitely comment down below. But of course, most importantly of all, stay nerdy.